The reason you're trash on offense in CFB 27 is because you haven't mastered the 5 secret tips I'm breaking down in this video. Whether you want to know how to block mid blitz every time or you want to know a secret hack to break man coverage, I've got you more than covered in this video, so make sure you don't skip out on any of the tips and you watch all the way until the end. Let's jump right into it. Like I just mentioned, the first thing I want to break down is how you can break man coverage for one-play touchdowns every single time. Let me show you how. Alright, so first we're going to come here on the field and we're going to be breaking down man coverage. What I want you to pay attention to is man coverage checks. Alright, there's default, or excuse me, against bunch, there's default, and then there's point combo, there's lock. The two that people use the most is going to be default, which is just lock, which means that there's no swapping, nothing. Everyone just guards the guy that's on the play arc. But also there's called point combo. And so really the reason why people aren't going to use default sometimes, like some people are going to, but really good players that run man coverage, they're going to switch from default to point combo. The reason why is because if we take, for example, I'm just going to simulate what could happen here. If we take a route concept like this, where this guy who's manned up onto the tight end is lined up like across the field from him. So if the tight end just breaks out to the flat immediately, they can call a route concept like this, and they're going to have just an easy throw out here to the tight end for a first down. That can also happen like when you're running cover 0, the safety's coming from the top, and he's trying to fly down and guard that tight end. Well, now he's going to be wide open. So really why people like using point combo is because now you're actually going to be able to swap. Like the assignments are going to swap. So if we come into man coverage, we put the check on point combo here. Now what's going to happen is, you could read what that really says, but I'll explain it to you simply. They're just going to swap assignments if the if the outside receiver Rodgers, if he goes inside. So if they call this same type of combo where they have an out and a drag, this outside corner right here is now going to guard the out, and now this man coverage, Woodson, he's actually going to swap, and now he's going to guard the B receiver. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like here. So again, same combo. Now it's just going to, okay, well, I guess we're going to have to leave that in the video. But the same thing's going to happen, but this time they're actually going to swap assignments. So I think I saw that happen to Civil on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, what? I don't know what that is. But anyway, we're going to swap their assignments, and now you're going to notice how they're actually going to be able to guard this a whole lot better. So we take the snap, they switch, and now we're going to be able to actually be there to guard that. Now I need my guy to, come down and break on that pass, but that's the logic here, is they're just going to switch assignments, and now we're actually going to be able to just get a guy right here outside leverage on this instead of having to guard this guy from across the field. So really that's why point combo can be useful, but there's actually a really easy way to break point combo and confuse their assignments. And so that's what we're going to kind of be breaking down here. And so the way that we're going to do that is actually utilizing slot fades, all right? And so what we're going to do, we're going to put our outside bunch receiver here on a slot fade. We're going to smart route the slot fade, and that's all that you have to do. Then you also want to make sure that you have your tight end running some sort of out-breaking route to bait this outside corner into guarding him, all right? And so what we're going to see, the reason why this is going to work is, you could put RB on whatever, but now what you're going to notice is he's just going to leave him, and then you're just going to have an easy throw right there on the sideline. The reason why is because he thinks that that's just like a vertical route that he doesn't have to guard, and he thinks his teammate is just going to guard this, while he just takes the out route. So again, point combo tells them, okay, well, you need to the outside corner, you need to guard this out route. Okay, so he does that, but then his teammate who is guarding this tight end, it tells him, hey, now you need to guard the slot fade, and he's just going to be late, guarding it. This really works if you're on the, I'd recommend you're on the wide side with your bunch, but even if you're on the short side with your bunch, this can still work too. So you're going to see how easy pass lead over the top for a score simply by breaking point combo by utilizing a slot fade. Now you also want to make sure that you're smart routing the slot fade, because if you don't, then this just counts as an outside breaking route. Once you stem it up, it counts as a vertical route, which tells the outside corner he can leave the guy. So really make sure that you're smart routing it first and not just calling a default slot fade, because now you notice he actually does guard it, and it's just going to be lockdown defense. So make sure you're putting that slot fade in the field, but then smart routing it so that you can break this coverage, and then you're going to also run the tight tight end outside, and then you're just going to have the easiest touchdown over the top when you freeform pass lead that ball, green catch, and it's a walk-in touchdown. So you're going to basically force them to have to use point combo, and then when they do, you're just going to use that specific trick right there by utilizing slot fades, custom stemming them, or excuse me, smart routing them over the top, and you're going to have an easy one-play touchdown. All right, next I want to break down the best offensive settings that you need to be using right now in college football 27. These are ones that not enough players know about, or they're simply overlooking. Let me show you. Alright, so that first setting here is going to be, if we come into our coaching adjustments, you can also set these on the main menu and then set them and never have to touch them for the rest of the year. But we're going to be talking about auto pass protection, alright? First, the reason why I want to bring this up is because a lot of people use base protection. Base protection is going to be really great against pretty much every defense that you're playing against, except for when they use custom stunts, in particular the Texas 4-man custom stunt, because what you're going to notice is we're going to be in base protection right here. They're going to use the Texas 4-man custom stunt, spread the D-line pass commit, and now what we're going to notice is one of their guys are pretty often going to be coming in free. Now, no blitz is going to work 100% of the time, but this is a very easy and consistent blitz, and if you're wondering why you're constantly getting screamed at when you're just in regular pass protection, a lot of the time it's because they're actually utilizing custom stunts. So you see how that time it actually just walks in the backfield, and it's not to say that, because the solution is going to be switching to empty protection, but it's like even when you're empty, it can still happen. It's just going to happen at a much lower clip. I would say that can happen anywhere from 60 to 70% of the time when they set it up correctly and you're using base protection. So instead, what you're going to do is you're either going to go back into that auto pass protection setting and move it over to empty, or you can just set empty pass protection at the line of scrimmage by holding left trigger and then left stick up. So now we're going to be in empty protection. They can still spread their defensive line pass commit. And so now what we're really going to see is, boom, we're going to take it, and this is going to work a lot better for you as far as blocking the stunt. And you still need to get guys open, you still need to get rid of the ball on time, but it's just going to do a lot better job, especially with my lab work and preparation. I know that simply by using empty protection when you see they're in custom stunts, that's going to be very beneficial for you. You also see I've even created a macro for single mug pass protection, as you can see right here, that's going to, like, as soon as I see them in this, I can immediately set up my pass protection without even having to, worry about using, the hot routes here, which on the road, in road to the CFP or in Dynasty, those can fail. But what you're going to see is, again, empty protection. Now we're actually going to be able to block this a lot better, and you see how we actually have time to throw to be able to set up a real route combination and get guys open. So really, what I'm telling you here is, don't just always use base protection. There will be times, especially when you're playing against stunts and like A-gap blitzes, where empty protection is actually going to be the better option for you. But next, we're going to be talking about your passing settings and why you need to make sure that you're using freeform passing or placement and accuracy. So we're going to come into options, settings, we're going to scroll down to passing mechanics, placement and accuracy for your passing type, pass lead increase on small, radical speed between 5 and 20. I obviously have mine on 8 right here. And so really the reason why is because I want to put them in a random defense, and I'm just going to go with some of my, one of my favorite route concepts here, which is in my Alabama offensive ebook. But the reason why we're going to be breaking this one down is because I want to show you the difference of when you need to freeform and when you don't. Because it's like not every time are you actually going to need to use freeform passing. So we're going to take the snap right here. What I would say is when you're throwing to wide open players like that, you do not need to freeform. All you simply need to do is press the button and try to pass lead the ball by using the left stick, pass leading it to open space or away from the defenders. There will be times, though, where you do need to freeform when it's a tight window throw like right there. I need to get that ball away from Bray Hubbard, but not too far gone to where it's, throwing the ball right at the safety. So that's really where holding the left trigger to activate freeform passing, along with already holding the left stick and pressing the button, that's really how you're going to do it. Like right here, that was incomplete pass, but I used freeform right there because I was trying to get that ball away from Bray Hubbard, that defender. Now, what you can notice, the reason why I say you don't want to freeform everything is because when you hold the left trigger, you have maximum control, which comes with increased risk for overthrows. Like you're just going to see right here, I freeform. I want to be able to get that ball away from that defender, the slot corner right there, number 23. And so I hold the left trigger. Also, again, when they're in man coverage, tight man coverage, you want to be able to get the ball away from those guys as well. So really you need to just understand that if you're throwing to wide open players, that's where you want to just use regular pass leading. But if they're in like tight man coverage like they're going to be right here, that's really where it's like you might want to look to, just end up free-forming that pass. So again, we go with it right here, and then I'm going to freeform that pass because I need that ball to be all the way out to the sideline away from that defender, whereas if I didn't freeform it, there's a possibility that that ball is behind my player, and then the defender has an opportunity to break on it. So you're able to see right here, 33, I see he creates separation. I want this ball all the way out here instead of more back inside towards the defender. He's easily able to catch it, get a foot down, and then we have a big gain. So start using freeform passing, placement, and accuracy with those settings only actually when you need to, not on every throw, by holding the left trigger, the left stick, and then pressing the button of the receiver that you want to throw to. Alright, so if you found those first two tricks helpful to transform your offense here in College Football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down CFB 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and I'm the only one doing it every day here on YouTube, so this is really the best channel to watch and take information from. But if you're serious about winning more games, transform your gameplay here in CFB 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join CFB University, where you can get your first month for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. It has my full written breakdowns of everything, all my meta tips that I'm doing, including the 5 offensive secrets that I'm breaking down here in this video. It also has macros, it has my defensive ebook, so much great content for you to watch and get better with here in College Football 27. So what are you thinking? Join CFB today and level up your game. Let's jump right back into the video though. Because next I want to break down something that's absolutely going to transform your offense and take it to another level here in College Football 27. Let me show you exactly how to speed boost. Alright, so we're going to be breaking down speed boosting here, alright? And so the first thing that I want to talk about is if we come into coaching, we come into depth chart, alright? And we are going to make sure that the player that we have at our, gadget, or whoever's carrying the ball, whether it's your halfback, your receiver, whoever you're trying to speed boost with, you need to make sure that they have 90 plus speed, agility, acceleration, and change of direction. I mean, obviously as close to 99 as possible is great, but being above 90 is really going to be that threshold that's going to help you get more boosts and do it more often. So, you see Ryan Williams here, he has all of those ratings. He also has, jukebox and spin cycle on platinum, and so that's really going to make him super elusive. So he's the type of guy that, especially when I'm playing with Bama and Road to the CFP, he's the guy that I'm trying to speed boost with, because you're really seeing how I'm getting these artificial boosts of speed, when I'm actually taking these handoffs with him. So that's a duo run, which are always going to be really good. We also have inside zone, which I can, take the handoff here. I'm going to be able to boost, and so I'm going to put a defense out here in a second. But you just see I'm getting these like artificial kind of gliding around the field. Also, I mean, you're just not going to be able to get that with another player. Like if I were to, let's see, try to pass the ball here, like I'm going to pass the ball to, I'll just say my tight end. I'm not going to be able to use, like, he's just not boosting. I'm doing the same mechanics here, and he's making these kind of hard cuts simply because he doesn't actually have the ratings that allow me to actually be able to pull off that move. Even if I were to, throw this pass to to Rodgers here, he can speed boost. Like, he's just not as fluid, or it's not going to happen, like, every single time like it would if I had Ryan Williams at that spot. That's really why I tell you guys to make sure that if you can control it, you have as many players on your team that actually can boost. But it's not just on runs. I can throw the ball to him out here as well. I'm going to boost, and I'm going to boost again. And also you can spin, especially because, again, he has spin cycle, so his spin moves are going to be absolutely insane. So really pairing the speed boost up with the spin is going to be really valuable. But again, the way that you're going to do it here is you're going to already be holding right trigger and aiming the left stick where you want to run. You're already going to do that once your blocks have set up or you're past the line of scrimmage. And then to actually trigger the boost, you're simply going to tap the left trigger. So again, take the handoff. Every time I tap the left trigger, that's when he's boosting. and only when I tap the left trigger. Now, a pro tip that I would recommend when you're using this is that you're trying to change direction as well when you're actually speed boosting, because it's going to be hard to just boost in the same direction. So make sure you're changing directions. But with all that in mind, now that you understand how to do it, let me show you what it looks like with a live defense. Alright, so really what this looks like now that there's a live defense, it's more about trying to get to your spots sooner. So obviously, when there's no defense in the field, you can speed boost whenever you want, but now it's like you need to be able to get to your spots sooner so that you can actually be able to rip off these big gains. My favorite thing about this speed boost is it allows you to get to the second level of the defense faster than if I just take this handoff and I'm running. Like, that can work, it's just not going to be as effective because now the defenders are able to close the airspace faster. But when you're speed boosting to your spot, you make it a whole lot easier. Now, obviously your blocks have to set up. Defenders, they can still have good pursuit angles, especially early in the play, but you just notice how, like, that's fake. Like, I can't, like, you wouldn't be able to do that with really any other ball carrier that can't speed boost. So you're going to see it right here. I see my gap, and then I'm able to speed boost, dumb out the pursuit angle of number 3, and I'm able to pick up more yards. So again, all I'm doing, holding right trigger, aiming the left stick where I want to run, and then I'm tapping the left trigger in order to get this boost of speed, which is really what's, and then right here, it's like I have spin cycle. So I'm just going to immediately be able to speed boost and then spin him out every single time. So this is really what's going to allow you in this game. The run is already good, blocks are already good, but being able to use this speed boost mechanic is just going to make it a whole lot easier for you to rip off these big touchdown runs, as I've done so many times this year, because when you get the ball out into open space, that's really where you're the most dangerous. Again, if I wanted to go with a play like this, I'm going to spin him out, and then, well, that's a face mask, but then I might have been able to like speed boost around too. So really just work on the speed boost using the right trigger, the left stick, and then tapping the left trigger when you want to change direction to speed boost. Also pairing it up with other ball carrier moves like the stiff arm, the spin, the juke, and that's how you're going to be able to rip off huge gains. Alright, before I jump to those final 2 tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss to transform your offense here in College Football 27, I wanted to once again remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one who's going to be breaking down CFB 27 tips and tricks all year long, even when Madden 27's out. I'm going to be doing it every single day, so really, this is the best channel to watch and take information from. But let's jump right back into the video. Because next I want to break down the best custom adjustment that's going to help you block blitzes in this game. In particular, the best blitz from nickel double mug. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, so this is a very simple macro to help you be able to immediately block mid blitz without actually having to remember or even set the pass protection because of how Stadium Pulse works. But what we're going to see, offensive line technique on half slide right, untargeted defender on their user defender. We're going to make sure that we have the Mike ID'd as the right edge. Alright, and then we are going to scroll down to our halfback because he's really the only guy that we can count on to consistently pick up this blitz. And so then we are going to put our halfback on a pass block. So again, really all it is, half sliding in one direction, IDing the defensive end on the other side, untargeting their user defender, and then pass blocking. So you can rewind the video if you really want to see what it looks like again, but obviously this is directly in my new offensive ebook. So really that's what we're doing here, blocking mid blitz from gun bunch, and let me show you exactly what that looks like. Alright, so we're going to come into gun bunch here, and we are going to see if I just press LB or L1, and then I flick my right stick to the right to open the second page of my macros. And then I'm going to see Mid Blitz Bunch Pro, alright? And so the reason why I tell you guys this is Bunch Pro is because Bunch has my halfback on the left side. Also in this Alabama ebook, there is, Bunch Strong Offset, which has the running back on the other side. So really I would have to flip those two mechanics where I'm now half sliding the other way and then I'm going to ID the other edge rusher. But right here, when you use the macro to half slide towards the right, ID the left edge as the mic, now you're going to see how all that's going to happen is I could just take this snap, that guy's going to come in free, and so you still have to get rid of the ball because that edge rusher comes in free. The running back is going to pick him up every single time though. But it's like that pocket is still going to be collapsing, and really the alternative, the reason why that you have to do that is even if you were to block your halfback without using pass protection, right? So you just block your halfback now. Really what happens, that right there, where the way that they block this blitz by default is they let one of the two A-gap rushers walk in free. Normally it's the one on the same side as the halfback, but the problem is I don't want pressure right through the middle in my face. This is just impossible to pass the ball from, because again, he's just going to get thrown to the ground, but I'd rather him get thrown to the ground when he's on the side of me than when he's right in front of me. So he gets thrown to the ground and then like I'm immediately sacked, or I try to step up and now I'm sacked. So this is what too many of you guys are doing when you're playing against mid blitz, which shouldn't be hard to beat, but when you actually just block your running back and just say, okay, that's all I have to do, that's what makes it more difficult. So again, press LB, open the second page of your macros if that's where you have this specific macro here, but mid blitz, bunch pro, and now what you're just gonna see is, again, we're gonna half slide away from the halfback, ID the defensive end on the halfback side. We're going to take the snap, he comes in free, and now I actually have the ability to, get rid of the ball. Hopefully you'd be able to find your receivers a little bit quicker than I did right there, but that's really what it is. It's being able to half slide away from the halfback, pick up the blitz, and then the pocket is still kind of, this is actually a pretty good pocket here that I was able to step up into and try to find my receiver open. So really, that's how you're going to neutralize mid blitz. I've talked about that pass protection for many years, but now you're actually going to be able to put it into a macro where you only have to make 2 button presses or 3 button presses instead of having to remember how to actually block mid blitz. Alright, the 5th and final offensive tip that I want to break down here in this video is going to be the best run play against man coverage. Man coverage is really good right now, and actually the best way to beat it is to just run the ball. Let me show you the best run play to beat man defenses. Alright, so I'm going to put them in random man coverage here, and really what you're going to notice, this is pin, pull, toss from gun, bunch, strong, offset in the Alabama playbook. So if you have my Alabama ebook, or you are interested in it, this is going to be the best run play that we like using here to be able to beat man coverage. Now, every time I record one of these videos, we get blown up the first time I call it. But the reason why this is so good is you're going to be able to get the ball out on the edge into space. And so really what this is going to look like is this right here. Now, when you're able to pair it up with the speed boost, like we talked about earlier, that's what makes it even better, the speed boost to spin. But when you're able to get the ball out into space away from a lot of these defensive players, that's what's really going to help you. If you can, and a lot of the time though, these receivers are really good at blocking in this game. Receivers and tight ends, they can actually block. And so if you can actually get out here to the edge, that's going to open up your big play touchdown potential. Now, what I want to point out when I'm, talking about this play is this is a run that is high risk, high reward, because really what you're doing is it's a toss play. You can also untarget some of these defenders on the backside of this play as well to let them come in free, since they're not actually going to be important to this play, but everything still comes down to blocking. When we're talking about, man coverage, when we're able to kind of align a lot of their players away from the play, kind of like here, where if we draw a line down the center, they're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defenders over here that probably aren't going to have an impact on this play because they're on the wrong side. So like right here, this might, if number 33 held his block, that would have been our best run of the day, simply because we had the numbers on that side. And so that's really the thing that you're trying to get here with man coverage is numbers. So you see how like right here, it's set up perfectly. If he holds this block, for us to be able to get all the way out here to the edge, and then once you're able to do that, it's just a one-on-one. Out there with you in a safety, and then you have a gadget player who can actually speed boost. Again, you're going to need your blocks to set up, but I'm telling you guys, this is the run that has completely changed and unlocked my offense against man coverage. It's simply getting a toss out there and then playing the numbers. I'm not going to sit here all day and show this. I think I've talked about this in another video as well where it was really successful, but it's all about the averages, because the reality is if I just ripped up a 70-yard run right now, the averages would be more in our favor to be able to pick up 4 yards a pop and be able to just pick up easy yards every single time. So play the numbers with this. Don't really, say, oh, it hasn't worked all game, I'm going to stop going to it. And now I'm not telling you to go to this on like 3rd and 18. I would recommend you pass in that situation, but it's like just because it hasn't worked a few times, like it hasn't worked in a few plays, that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't. The logic is there, it just comes down to can these guys actually hold their blocks out here. This is why we do like to talk about pass plays in order to beat man, but it's like this is going to be a run play where you have the ability to block initially, get to the second level of the defense and start to speed boost, really well here. So it's like you have this gadget player. We'll go with it one last time here. Hopefully we can rip off, a little bit better run here than we've been able to do. But it comes down to blocking. We're able to find some open space. Unfortunately, I bumped into a few guys. But pin pull toss here from bunch strong offset. If you have a player out there, especially a gadget player who can speed boost, who can spin, your guys can set up their blocks really well. This is going to be one of the better plays that anyone is going to be able to show you. Alright, so if you found those 5 offensive tips helpful here in College Football 27, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I break down College Football 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content because I'm going to keep doing it all year long, even when Madden 27 releases. But if you're serious about scoring more points, getting better on offense here in CFB 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join CFB University, where you can get your first month for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. CFBU has my full updated defensive ebook from the 425 man pressure playbook, the best defense of the game, and that defense has macros, videos, screenshots. It's a full written breakdown for you to follow along with all of my other updated tips. So if you're serious, again, about getting better here, scoring more points, join CFBU today. And if you want to see a preview of what CFBU actually looks like and what's inside, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.